engage with your audience, be live. And now let's talk about what happens after the event. This is also very, very important. What happens after the event is probably as important as what happens beforehand, because that's when you're turning these leads and these interactions into something. Because we don't just give these talks and we don't just do these seminars to take up the time. We actually want something. It's a great opportunity to generate additional leads, drive engagement, plan how to improve your next event. Here are some of the things to do after the event. First of all, create your workshop assets. I can tell you now that I probably spend as much time as I do on my assets as I do on the presentation at that time. Edit your recordings for your video, break it down into little bite-sized clips, create a playlist on YouTube or wherever you've decided to do it. So as I said, I spend a lot of time on my giveaways. That's the one from the last talk I did. I go to the trouble of not just presenting plain little words, but to create them into something that remains memorable. So creating workshop assets, very, very important. And then send a thank you email. Also very, very important. The soon as the talk's over, to engage with your audience. Don't leave them for 6 or 7 days wondering what happened to you. Go out there, create one. As I said, I use Constant Contact. What I did after my last talk was literally within a few minutes, or maybe it might have felt like a few minutes to me. It felt like it was probably a couple of hours. Is I sent out one saying thank you for, and then I put in brackets, hopefully attending my masterclass today, video links following soon. So it was a bit of a teaser about what was going to come. And I also put in brackets, hopefully, because I wasn't just sending this to the people who attended, I was sending this to the people who had registered as well, because I want to engage with them as well. And I'll look into a little bit more detail about the thank you message a bit later on and what you can do from there. Then conduct an event afterwards. You've thanked your audience for attending. Now you need to learn what they actually thought of your presentation. Do they love it? Did they hate it? Did you engage with them? Did you bore them? You don't really know how until you've held that post-event meeting how you actually did. Here are a couple of questions you might ask that we recommend for you. You can ask them, how would you rate your event experience from a scale to 1 to 10? And using things like Google Forms, you can do them for free. You can use SurveyMonkey. There are so many ways to set up these little polls which will give you really great results. Ask them whether they experienced any technical difficulties during the broadcast. They might highlight something that you didn't notice. A light was shining. I saw Pearl asked earlier on, there's always the problem with light shining on your glasses. You need to move your lights a little bit around. Ask them whether you provided the information in a way that engaging to them. Did they enjoy your style of presentation? Don't be scared to get negative responses back, because you will improve over and over and over. It's the same as when I'm talking about making video or I'm talking about using Canva. Understand your first one is probably going to be poor, and number 2, poor less a certain amount until eventually you're doing great things. And then ask people what you can possibly do to make the event better. How could we make this event better, not for the speakers, but for you, the audience, who are so important? And then also ask them what topics you'd like them to cover. Now, very often my next topic is decided during that talk. Someone will say to me, wow, Mike, you spoke about video. Do you think we can do a course just on video? I'll make a note, and that then becomes my next talk. Contact your leads who didn't attend. It's also very, very important. They had intention to be there. They didn't realize it was school holiday. Something popped up. They didn't have internet connection. Don't ignore them. Not only should you thank your attendees, thank everyone. It doesn't matter how famous you are, how amazing your event content is. There'll always be some people that registered and didn't attend. And don't even watch the attendance number during the talk. That's not important. You need to talk to your audience that is there, and you can always contact everyone off. As I said there, don't write everyone off. Send them a quick message. We missed you today. Sorry you couldn't make it. How can we help you? Here's a link. Go and watch. People who registered for your event are obviously interested, and it was something that kept them from being there. So please don't lose that at all. So contact those leads at the time. So once again, that's what I sent out, and I showed you that a second ago. That's what I sent out, just to let people know that even if they were there or not there, I had them covered. I've got your back. Then analyze your stats. Stats are incredibly important thing. I'm constantly using stats all the time, particularly with my email marketing, with my Facebook. I want to know what the engagement is. Not all your events messages are sent. You can dig into those numbers. I can see I sent out 1,600, only 800 were delivered. Of the 800 delivered, 400 were opened. Of the 400 that opened, 200 were clicked on. Of the clicks, I even know where they clicked. All of those, this click-through ratios are so important. Look at your attendee ratio. How many people registered versus how many people actually pitched up. And you could ask the people who didn't pitch up why they weren't able to. Also very important, because you'll learn some things. Like, so for example, the timing of your event was bad. I'm unable to attend at that particular time. Why would you possibly hold it during dinner time? It's very important to me in that thing. Audience engagement, have conversations, share what went on. I must say, one thing that really struck me was that when Jody Hill did her presentation to all of us, she then took the chat list and she wrote to each one of us an answer to every one of the questions that she wasn't able to answer when she was live. That was really great engagement. And then there's general data, tracking data, and careful analysis of your statistics will help you choose better event topics, better marketing, effective, boost engagement. You'll know where to live broadcast. Don't be scared to go into the analysis of your webinar. And then evaluate the feedback you get from them. Once you start to receive the survey responses, you need to evaluate them. Look for patterns. Where did I slip up? What did I do wrong? What could I improve on? All these things. And if multiple people comment on how much they love the visual elements you use your presentation, you know you need to include those more. If people tell you they found your slides confusing, you need to do that less. You know, there's a simple rule in presentations, and I'm not talking about ones, for example, here in front of you, where you are using words, it's 4x4. 4 lines with 4 words on each one. That's about as much as you want to do. And don't allow your audience to read up ahead of you. Do your best to learn from the positive and negative feedback you receive, and try not to take anything personally. Presenters are a bit like chefs. We don't enjoy criticism, not even constructive criticism, but it's a very important part of learning and boosting and moving on from there. And then finally, plan your next event. By now you've discovered what went wrong, what you can improve on, and what will come up. Take the time from what you've learned and go on from there. And Liesel's going to share a little bit more about planning your next event with you now.